Out beyond the planets, beyond the fading influence of the sun, beyond every place a human being has ever visited, a lone machine continues its journey through the dark. Voyager 1. Launched in 1977, it was never meant to survive this long. It was built to explore the outer planets, send its discoveries home, and eventually fall silent. Instead, it kept going. Year after year. Decade after decade. Crossing distances so vast that its radio signals now take more than a day to reach Earth. For generations, Voyager has been our most distant messenger. A tiny piece of humanity drifting through an ocean of interstellar darkness. And until recently, that darkness seemed empty. But now, some researchers believe Voyager may have encountered something unexpected. Something that should not have been there at all. The story began with what appeared to be an ordinary transmission. A routine stream of data from an aging spacecraft operating billions of miles away. Nothing unusual at first. Nothing alarming. Just another faint signal from the edge of known space. Then analysts noticed something strange. Buried within the incoming data were irregular patterns. At first they looked like simple hardware problems. That would not have been surprising. Voyager is nearly 50 years old. Its instruments have endured freezing temperatures, cosmic radiation, and conditions far beyond anything its engineers originally planned for. Glitches happen. Errors happen. But these patterns were different. They appeared repeatedly. Consistently. Almost deliberately. Engineers initially assumed the spacecraft's aging systems were failing. Yet every time they examined the anomaly, the same question emerged. Why did the disturbances appear organized? The signal disruptions were not entirely random. Certain intervals repeated. Certain structures seemed to reappear. The behavior resembled a pattern hiding inside the noise. Most dismissed it as coincidence. Until a newer generation of analysis systems became involved. Using advanced artificial intelligence models designed to detect subtle relationships in massive datasets, researchers reprocessed portions of Voyager's transmissions. What emerged surprised everyone. The AI identified geometric relationships hidden within the signal disturbances. Not clear messages. Not words. Not anything that could immediately be called communication. But structures. Order. Mathematical consistency. The kind of arrangement that naturally attracts attention because the universe rarely creates perfect organization by accident. Still, many scientists remain skeptical. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And Voyager's equipment is ancient. A malfunction remained the most likely explanation. Then another discovery complicated the picture. Investigators began reviewing archived imaging data associated with the same time period. Most expected nothing. After all, Voyager is traveling through what should be nearly empty interstellar space. There are no nearby planets. No bright targets. No obvious objects to observe. Yet within one processed frame, analysts noticed something unusual. A faint structure. Barely visible. Almost invisible. A subtle geometric shape buried beneath layers of noise. Human observers had overlooked it for years. Only after multiple enhancement passes did the pattern become noticeable. What made it unsettling was not its appearance. It was its consistency. The structure did not resemble ordinary camera defects. It did not match known cosmic ray impacts. And it did not behave like random image corruption. Instead, it appeared strangely ordered. Like a lattice. A framework. A design hidden in the darkness. Nobody knew what to make of it. Some researchers argued that the image represented nothing more than processing artifacts created by aggressive enhancement techniques. Others were less certain. Because when they compared the image anomaly with Voyager's unusual signal behavior, similarities began to emerge. Both appeared during the same general period. Both displayed unexpected organization. And both resisted easy explanation. Then came the event that transformed curiosity into mystery. Telemetry records suggested that Voyager experienced an unexpected orientation adjustment. Not a major maneuver. Not a dramatic turn. Just a subtle shift. But enough to attract attention. The spacecraft appeared to alter its position toward a region of space that contained no known target. No nearby star. No visible object. Nothing that should have demanded attention. Yet somehow, Voyager seemed to react. Was it simply correcting itself? A normal response to internal conditions? Or was something external influencing the spacecraft? Nobody knew. But suddenly three separate mysteries existed at the same time. The strange signal behavior. The unusual image pattern. And the unexpected orientation event. Individually, each could be dismissed. Together, they became harder to ignore. Some researchers began proposing a disturbing possibility. What if these events were connected? What if the image anomaly was not merely visual noise? What if the signal disruptions were not ordinary hardware failures? And what if Voyager's subtle movement was not random? The idea sounded impossible. Yet impossible ideas have a way of becoming irresistible when enough unexplained details begin pointing in the same direction. As analysts continued their investigation, one question started appearing again and again. A question nobody wanted to ask. What if Voyager had encountered something in interstellar space? Not necessarily a spacecraft. Not necessarily life. But something. A phenomenon. A structure. An unknown presence. Something capable of influencing the environment around it. Something hidden within the darkness beyond our solar system. And if that possibility was real, then humanity's most distant explorer may have just become the first witness to a mystery waiting far beyond the edge of the known world. But the deeper researchers looked into the evidence, the stranger the story became. Because the anomaly wasn't simply appearing near Voyager. It seemed to be staying with it. And that realization would lead to an even darker possibility. One that nobody was prepared to confront. The most disturbing discovery came when researchers compared the anomaly across multiple datasets. If it had been a simple imaging error, it should have disappeared. If it had been random interference, it should have changed unpredictably. But according to the analysis, traces of the pattern seemed to remain connected to Voyager's position. That possibility changed everything. Because now investigators were no longer asking what Voyager had seen. They were asking whether something had remained near the spacecraft after the encounter. At the same time, engineers continued examining unusual signal disruptions coming from the probe. Voyager's transmissions have always weakened with distance. That is expected. But some interruptions appeared strangely organized. Not enough to prove anything extraordinary. Yet enough to raise uncomfortable questions. The deeper the data was studied, the more difficult it became to dismiss every anomaly as simple aging hardware. Then came an even stranger observation. Certain changes appeared to occur when Voyager's instruments were actively collecting information. Almost as if the anomaly behaved differently when it was being observed. To many scientists, that interpretation sounded impossible. Space does not normally work that way. Large-scale structures do not react to observation. At least, not according to everything we currently understand. And yet the mystery remained. A faint geometric pattern. Unusual signal behavior. An unexplained orientation event. 3 pieces of a puzzle that refused to fit comfortably inside any known explanation. Of course, there are ordinary possibilities. Instrument errors. Software corruption. Cosmic radiation. Unknown environmental effects. All remain far more likely than anything extraordinary. But sometimes the most unsettling part of a mystery is not what we know. It is what we do not know. Because beyond the heliopause, Voyager entered a region humanity has never explored directly. A place where no human spacecraft had traveled before. A frontier defined not by planets or stars, but by the vast unknown between them. And somewhere within that darkness, Voyager may have recorded something we still cannot explain. Perhaps the anomaly will eventually be solved. Perhaps future analysis will reveal a perfectly ordinary cause. But until then, one possibility continues to linger. That humanity's most distant machine encountered something unexpected in the silent depths of interstellar space. Something hidden. Something unexplained. And perhaps, for a brief moment, something that noticed Voyager before Voyager noticed it.